Right. So after that, for what it's worth, the timer stopped there at 1:40:08, I believe.
Always a good start.
Always a good start, yeah. Underneath the estimate, at least. So now, before we move on, I should probably mention the donation that got donated during the stream. Okay, sure. So we received a £25 donation from Zaspar, who says, "Good luck to all the runners today and tonight." Thank you very much.
Zasper.
Huh?
Let's go, Zasper.
Yeah. So for anyone who donates, you'll be entered into a little raffle, and in this case, they've got a lot of different tickets towards this raffle, so they have a pretty good shot at winning the HyperX headset we have to give away.
Very nice, very nice.
And also, we've reached our first milestone of 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 4 pounds donated. So I think that's 34. Wait, no, that's 2 to the power 5. They can't.
Don't ask me
the
with
person
maths.
up there cannot count. Great. Yeah. So we've raised £34,
Nice.
and our next donation goal is £64. So hopefully we can get to that later today. Right. So, how are we doing for the Minesweeper setup over there?
Spoilers, we haven't told them we got Minesweeper next.
True.
Exactly. So next up, we have Minesweeper, ran by the lovely... Do you want to come up and say hello quickly?
I'll say hello.
Yes.
So we have a lovely Minesweeper runner.
Hello, I'm dardhong. I do play Minesweeper way too much.
You can hold it a bit closer, I think.
Okay, sure. So I'll be doing some combined times runs today. So there's 3, I don't know if people know Minesweeper, but there's 3 different modes. There's beginner, intermediate, and expert. So I'm going to be running each of those modes to try and get good runs, so I can have a good combined time. So add up the time and try and reach. I'm hoping for a sub 80 second of all 3 modes today.
Okay.
But I have potential.
Now, Minesweeper is kind of an interesting game to speedrun for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
And one of those reasons is that it's not always actually possible to win. Would you be able to explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, so there's definitely, I think that's a big thing that people know about Minesweeper, is that if you can play and then you don't have control over winning, which is... I can see why people are apprehensive about it being speedrun because of that. In terms of the actual percentages, if you were to play the logic perfectly, sometimes you need to take probabilities. So beginner would be I think it's 92% win rate. Intermediate would be 78%, and expert is 40.5, which is quite low.
Fair enough.
But it is actually something I've learned to appreciate over playing, because it actually rewards consistency.
Yeah.
Because they're quite short runs, so if you need to be able to perform at a high level for a consistent amount of time, so you can find the board which is right and that you can win.
Okay.
And it also adds the element of probabilities of figuring out, being able to calculate the best chance to win is also an extra level which can.
True, because not all options are created equal. Some might have a 66% chance of working or something like that.
Yeah, there's the classic 50-50. Which obviously they happen, and you just coin flip it, and that is just part of the game.
Do you actually have a coin on you, or do you just literally to just make sure that it's extra random?
I actually have a strategy for 50-50.
I see.
Just so I can feel like technically I did that right, even if I lost, it makes me feel better. It's very niche and it doesn't really matter, but as long as I can at least I know I did it right.
Do you prefer the left side of the left square or the right square? How do you decide?
It can be the top square or the bottom square.
True, it can.
The best technical click is the one closest to your cursor.
I see.
At the time.
That makes sense.
It really doesn't say many seconds, but it gives me this, I did that right, even if it didn't matter. And even if I lost, I did it right.
That's fair.
So that helps.
So have you ever restarted you've just restarted a run thinking, oh, this is impossible, but then it turns out later that, this actually was possible, you just didn't realize at the time?
Yeah, there's a lot more logic and ways to solve it than people initially realize.
Right.
For a long time, I thought I was good and there wasn't anything else to learn.
Right.
I kept finding new patterns and I was actually missing that. So it's a lot more in depth than I think people imagine, and there's a lot more things you can do than people anticipate in terms of the speedrunning it.
Fair enough.
And it's quite an old game.
Yes.
I think it came out in 1990. So there's been a long history of players. and yeah, there's still a fairly active community within who play it, and there's some strong players. I think it's quite big in the Chinese community,
Oh, fun.
which I think they play somewhere else. So
Also, on a completely different note, a little birdie told me that you got a top 4 time earlier practicing.
yes, personally.
So I'm quite excited to see if you can like bring those sort of times to the real thing, you know?
Yeah, I was a little worried because I came here, I bought my own mouse, because mouse precision is very important when you're speedrunning this game. If you misclick, you just lose.
What mouse is it?
Is it sponsored by Logitech, this event? I think it's Logitech G2. I don't really know, to be honest.
Other mouses are available.
There's nothing special. There's nothing special.
G Pro? Yeah, I think it's
302.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not giving one of those away.
No,
Yeah.
we are not.
We're just going to steal your mouse and put it up on the raffle.
There's really nothing special, but it's
Yeah.
what I'm used to. But yeah, it was slightly different plugged into a new PC, so I was a little worried that I'd be a bit below standard. But yeah, just in practice, I did manage to get a sub 50 run, which is personal top 4. So hopefully I'll be able to bring it forward. But I do not want to promise a sub 50 because I spent a lot of time trying to reach that goal beforehand.
All right, fair enough. Also, over there, have we got everything set up we need for the run? Okay, so we should be able to hopefully start it then.
Are you all good?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll just switch over to getting it set
Yeah.
up.
Thank you very much for the little interview.
Thank you very much.
You're
Make sure
welcome.
to just turn that off.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Thank you. That would not be a good start. R/stream fails.
to get what I'm after. Hoping for a sub 20 or maybe even a 17 second is a fair goal. Can I get some? Is my mic fine now?
Yes, your mic is fine.
Okay, good. Yeah. Again, this is quite high 3BV. I'm getting about. So for some reference, the average 3BV, or I'm just going to call it difficulty, is about 60 for this. 65, I think. I'm getting a lot of 70s, and if I get 50 or below is what I'm aiming for or hoping for. So this is again part of the consistency of Minesweeper. There's RNG based on how the mines are placed, but if you just play consistently at a good level, then you should be able to get what you want. A lot of 70s. Getting a bit unfortunate, but maybe this one will be better. I think so. The main part of this run is the expert board. It's got the lowest win chance. Oh, 50-50 for my sub 20. That's Minesweeper. Lost the coin flip there. So I think one thing you notice is how often I reset at the start of the game, and how I just click the top left corner. This is just to find. So the game doesn't give you something to work with every single time you start, and rather than waste time. Okay, this is good. 16.8. I'm gonna take that. Right, on to the main show, the expert board. As I was saying, start in the corner because there's actually highest probability of it opening up and giving me something to go off. And so for this, I'm hoping to get a sub minute run. Sub minute's it's a good goal to go for. It's a big landmark if you're a speedrun Minesweeper. If you get sub 60, is something to be proud of. So hopefully I can get it in this run, but I'd be happy with low 60s as well, I think. Just considering my different setup. So there's a lot of different strategies that I'm using here, which you might not really be able to see just by looking. If you notice, I'm not flagging every single mine. There's 99 mines and I'm probably flagging, I don't know, maybe a third of them. So that is a strategy known as efficiency playing, which is what I had to learn how to do to take it to the next level. Because you can just play by flagging everything, and then if you click on the number and there's the right amount of flags around it, then it will clear. Or you could left click on the cells, on the squares, to clear them, just like manually. So there's two different ways of clearing the cells, and depending on how the numbers are, the different styles take different numbers of clicks. So if you play with a mix of flags and left clicks, then you actually use you can use the minimum amount of clicks, or try and reduce the number of clicks you do to save you some time, which is what the playstyle I'm trying to use. It's hard to be perfect with the efficiency, but there's a lot of little efficiency like tricks that I've learned to do to get better, to get faster. But yeah, if anyone, maybe I should go a bit more basic, because I know a lot of people know about this game, and I think a lot of people don't take it that seriously, which I can understand, because anybody that I see in the community, I'm like, how did anyone get into Minesweeper? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Because it's a weird, like, old game, but it actually has a lot more value than I imagined as a speedrun. It's pretty addicting, trying to get better. So these numbers, for those who do not know, they're telling me how many mines there are in the 3x3 block around it. And if you picked up Minesweeper now, it would take you a little while to just like solve the logic behind figuring out where the mines are. So if you know that much and you're watching me play, you're like, how can you possibly solve it so fast? which I would agree. If I was solving, then this would be a bit too fast. But these numbers appear in certain patterns, and if you play enough, then you'll see like the same patterns appear, and each pattern has a certain solution. Just missed. That's another 50-50. I would have missed a low 60s. So there's a big variety of patterns, and you surprise yourself by always learning new ones. So this is a lot of pattern recognition. Some of them need some solving if they're like irregular, but there's a lot of pattern recognition and mouse precision and speed. It's kind of a combination of solving with your brain and clicking with your mouse. My mistake. I was going a bit too fast there to maintain it. The general win rate when you speedrun to your top level on expert is normally quite low. It's expected that I'm losing this much, since, as I said, there's a 40% chance of winning if when played perfectly. And when I go this speed, there's different areas to make mistakes in, such as like a misclick. See, this was a misclick, or probability, or just getting the logic wrong at this speed. Which is why the speedrun is a bit different to others maybe showing in this event, because it's not just one run. You play until it kind of works out, and everything falls together into a 1 minute spree of sweeping. That was a percentage chance. I could just back myself when it's a logic thing where I've taken a chance because that's the only option, and I can sort of give myself a way out. It wasn't a mistake, guys. It was just a logic. See, that was a misclick. So I think based on my intermediate and beginner times, which I think I got pretty quickly, and I think they were pretty decent, they add up to about less than 20. So if I think they add up to 18. If I get a low 60s, should be a sub 80 total, which is definitely doable. Just need to get the right board. So again, each board has that was probability. Each board has a difficulty like number, roughly. It's not perfect, but as a statistic, you can kind of look at it and say, okay, it was this difficult to go this fast, and you kind of vote for one to be on the lower difficulty. See, I'm just spam resetting until it gives me something to go on, rather than wasting my time trying to, work my way out of a difficult corner. It's all about the one run in this game. I think a fun stat from my my profile. He put it on. He put it on me. I got two headsets. I was in the zone and he just put 2 headsets on me.
So, we've got a couple of questions from Twitch chat, actually. One of them is, how do you make your brain go so fast?
This is what I was talking about. My brain doesn't go fast, it just looks like it does. It's pattern recognition, so I'm not solving it. I'm just kind of letting... It's like muscle memory in a way.
Yeah.
The skill involved is the strategies that I'm using, and the like reaction speed and mouse speed and precision, etc. In terms of like my brain going really fast, I think it's sort of a misconception. People think that I'm just solving things at super fast speed, which is not really the case, or differently to how people imagine, because it's like, where have I seen this before and what's the answer? Not how does this work? I know how it works already. I'm just reacting to it.
Just out of curiosity, you wouldn't happen to be an OS player, would you?
No. No,
They
I'm
also
not.
have quite the precision with the mouse.
Yeah, my mistake. See, I misclick, can't play O2.
So what are the sort of advantages / disadvantages of zooming in the board?
This is a bit of a question mark, I think, in speedrunning this game. So the official clone of Minesweeper, which the official records are accepted on, which is not this site, has a fixed zoom of 16 pixels, which is like a lot smaller than this.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people assumed, because the top players play on that zoom, that it's a good, the smaller the better. And there's reasons to believe that, but the smaller, there's less distance for your mouse to travel, and your field of vision will be better. But in terms of just the raw speed you can get from having a larger squares, it turns out there's some players which play on quite high zoom and actually manage to compete with some of the top players.
Fair enough.
So I think it just kind of came down to preference, but I think there's more potential in lower zoom. Normally I play on lower zoom than this, but just because I was scared for my mouse to misclick, then
That's
I put it up a bit bigger.
Now, really, really random question, right? But
Yeah.
how fast is your mouse DPI? Like, do you play on a high sense or a very low sense to hit the accurate squares?
So for me, I don't really have anything special. I literally just use default. I use 1600 DPI, I think, which I think is...
That's quite fast.
Is it quite fast?
Yeah.
But it really is. I don't know what's standard for top players. It's very much like comfort for mice. There's even some debate of whether you use like pointer precision or not. But yeah, I don't think there's much standard. I'm just kind of used what my mouse came with, and you sort of learn as you go. Okay, 60.6. I think that gives me my sub 80 total. But how long do I have? How long have I spent? 15 minutes. I think I can push them more.
Yeah, we're about 15 minutes in right now.
So I can either do no flags now, or no numbers.
Personally, I think it would...
Or I could try and push this a bit lower.
Do you want to try no flags?
Yeah, I'm happy to do no flags.
Because this is, to me, this is a bit more insane, just having to keep track of where you put all the flags.
What I didn't mention, while I was playing this, the efficiency playstyle, I solve it, essentially, you solve it with flags and without flags, mentally, before you click. And then you decide which one's better.
Right, I see.
So it's not much different. Like, I had to get good at no flag to play it efficiently, because you pretty much need to solve with no flags to play efficiently. You need to solve ahead of time in a way. And so I am quite comfortable playing no flags as well. Yeah, and I did used to play with only flags, and the idea of playing no flags was like, I wasn't that good at it. But it is a legitimate playstyle, playing without flags. And some people, yeah, they only play without flags. And there's advantages of playing without flags. It's a little bit of a different playstyle, but let's see what I can get. I'm a little slower, with no flags at the moment. Excuse me. But hoping for sub 65. I think I can get that.
So the reason, so you, when we were talking earlier, you said that no color, that rather having no numbers but having just the colors, is actually fairly okay. Like, it doesn't affect that much.
Yeah, it's more okay than you'd imagine. Because the game is based on numbers, you'd think, well...
And, every number has a unique color, right?
Yeah, so if you see that 1 is blue, 2 is green, 3 is...
Now, what I think would be great is monochrome. Monochrome colors only.
That'd probably throw me off more than no numbers. Because when you see these, your brain I've sort of associated these colors with...
Yeah.
There's even a mode where you can put it to random colors, so the colors don't align.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool.
And it's a bit harder.
Or what if you just swap the colors?
But even just the frequency of each number, you can... I have some sort of natural, like, even if they're random colours, I know which one's likely to be a 2 or a 1, just based on knowing.
So we have
what they
another
normally
question
are.
from the Twitch chat.
Yes.
Is playing on a phone allowed?
I mean, it's not illegal.
So
It's definitely allowed. It's personally, I don't like comparing the.
So it just kind of seemed like you might be able to just like, fat finger the phone. And just, like,
Yeah.
oopsies,
I used to-
accidentally hit 2 at once.
Yeah, I used to mainly play on mobile. I personally think in terms of like top speedruns, it's a bit of a different realm because mouse
Yeah.
versus clicking is a bit different. Sometimes mobile apps have like settings which are advantageous, but there's one thing that mainly put me off comparing them is that I watched the world's best player and he used like 3 fingers at once. So
What?
you can have like multiple points of where you're
Okay,
clicking,
wow.
Yeah.
which is why it's a bit different, and it's a much different skill. But I just got sub 60 no flag, which is even better than my flag time. And I'm
Nice.
quite pleased with that.
Oh, nice.
Sub minute, got myself a sub minute. For the sake of completeness, I'll do beginner no flag as well.
So apparently, according to some internet research, one of the top 10 people on the leaderboard plays on an iPad. So that's a fun fact.
Yeah, there's definitely people with some really good times. I just hesitate to compare them because they are a little different. But it's kind of hard to like tell. You
Yeah.
know, there used to be the strategy for playing beginner was on mobile because it's to get the best chance of getting a good game. Then you click on all 4 corners at once, which is a lot easier when you can just put 4 fingers on all the corners. I think. So yeah, it is a slightly different, but it's hard to separate them. It's definitely not illegal. The numbers are still the same, even if the clicking isn't.
Right, and we have another question from Twitch chat. What is your personal best on each board?
Okay, so my personal best, I could actually spectate it on this site. Personal best for beginner is 0.28 seconds. My personal best on intermediate is 11 seconds. And for expert, it is 45. So
Very
my
nice.
combined time is, actually I don't remember. I think it's sub 70.
And
Yeah.
what is world record on expert? It's 31 seconds?
World record is 27, I believe,
Ooh.
which is insane. Like I'm a big fanboy of world record holder, even though he is like a 13-year-old
I
kid.
wonder what the world record is to actually click the required number of squares. Just not even ignoring the Minesweeper board completely.
Yeah, that's what I think. When I watch the world record holder, I'm like, if I tried to click that amount of squares with no numbers, I don't think I could do it quicker than
It's
him.
fine. There's a chance that you click random squares. I'm sure you'll eventually. When the heat death of the universe happens, I'm sure you'll eventually get there.
What would
Okay, correct.
what would be the probability of that though? You probably have more chance of winning the lottery. Oh, he's giving it a Google.
Yeah, the world record holder, he is kind of a little bit ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, he's some like 13-year-old Chinese kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think you look at this time, like 27 seconds. That's like so far above you. I think
That's quite
I
something.
remember thinking when I first started speedrunning, like, isn't there a weird amount of gap between the top players? Like, you can be considered good at 45, but you're still very far off him. Normally, the closer to the top you get, the smaller the gap is. But I think there's a certain way of playing which you can only really unlock at a certain level, which I just realized recently. In terms of looking ahead, looking away from your cursor, you can actually solve the logic while you're clearing a different place. And he's very good at that, and it unlocks a lot of speed. If you can basically solve 2 places at once, and then have the mouse speed to actually act on that, then you can actually... I think that's the reason why he's so fast compared to...
I'm currently trying to look at the random probability
The others.
of winning at Minesweeper.
Yeah.
So,
It'll
unfortunately,
be
I can't find anything.
large
So
number.
we're gonna have to do some actual math.
It's probably incalculable.
Well, no, but if we guess randomly and we completely ignore whatever happens with the board,
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were to actually try and calculate the actual win rate on a board, on a random board, that's very infeasible.
Yeah.
There's like, how many possible boards are there?
I think even for beginner, like the chances won't be that high. I kind of want to get sub 20 no flag, but sort of. How long do I have?
Should
I do no
we're
numbers?
going to end it a little bit earlier just so we can catch up
Right,
from
I'll do one
from
no
our
numbers.
amazingly timed setup.
I'll do one no number run
But
to
yeah.
finish it. I have to go a little slower with this because I'm not quite.
So when did you start speedrunning Minesweeper then?
So I started playing Minesweeper, I think about 5 years ago, when my brother challenged me to beat him. But I only played on phone then. I just sort of procrastinated on and off playing Minesweeper back then. I got decent. But within the last year and a half, someone introduced me to the community, and I suddenly got motivated to beat other people. So about a year and a half, I've been taking it a bit more seriously and actually trying to improve. So yeah, I've improved. I think I started off for like 62-second time, got it down to 45, and
Nice.
aiming for more.
Do you ever feel like you just hit like a wall at some point when you got to a certain time?
Yes, so when I first got into it, I started grinding, and I reached 52. This was with full flags, and I was like, this kind of feels like my limit. I put a lot of time into this, so I had to relearn different strats to improve my efficiency. And every time I have this end goal, but when I reach this goal of say sub 50, then suddenly I realize that I can do more. But I do imagine I would cap out before world record.
Yeah.
Because he has there's 30 years of records being set, and this kid just comes along and destroys them all.
Oh, that's quite something.
Sometimes
But
how it goes though, because he's some jumps up kid with a mad reaction time, like
I
flicking
mean,
his mouse
in
about.
general, with speedruns and stuff, like I have just seen like it just gets stagnant at some point, and then a new runner can just like enter with like a new strat and absolutely dominate everything.
Because thinking the like Super Mario 64 speed running scene, right? There is some like 16-year-old kid called like Lucas, right, which has just popped up out of like nowhere, and he's now one of like the top runners, and I think he's got 120 star world record or something. I could
That's
be
really cool. I mean, it could probably change. Like maybe like 5 seconds ago, someone just brought the new record again.
Maybe.
Who knows?
But Super Mario 64 is insanely optimized.
I
I
put this on no guess.
another way to
put this on
to
no guess
optimize it
mode
further.
to play with no numbers.
That game's just gonna.
But it does make it
become
look
like a
You
glitchy
have to
mess.
be a machine to be able to. You have to be a taskbot in order to.
Honestly. And that like speed.
It seems to have a donation. I'm pretty sure that number changed.
Yes, it has.
It has.
Is that £10?
It appears to be a £10 donation. Yes.
Let's
From,
go.
Joey D718 with no attached comments. So I'm going to assume they just said blankety blank blank blank.
Oh, my bad.
But thank you very much for the donation.
I'm sort of
for a
doing
good
it.
cause.
I'm sort of doing the no numbers, but I keep making a mistake. Hang on.
Huh?
I'm doing the no numbers, but I'm making a few errors.
I see.
I'm putting it on the smaller board so I can actually win. So this is my proof. When someone says, "Oh, how does your brain work so fast? How do you solve all the numbers?" I put this on and prove to them that it's not about the numbers. It's about the muscle memory.
So after this board, do you fancy showing us the actual world record? Because you showed it me earlier, and it's quite impressive.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
So I think it would be quite cool
As a
to see
fanboy.
it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
See just how crazy Minesweeper speedrunning can get.
Just for the sake of
I'm not-
completeness,
you
there we
keep
go.
saying new ones. I think.
All right, I think we're going to stop the timer and just show the
what was my combined
World
times?
record
just
quickly.
show the world record.
Because it is only like 27 seconds or something.
Oh, I see. The delay. Ha.
Yeah.
Of course. We're watching the delayed stream.
12-year-old.
This guy's playing almost perfectly, efficiency-wise. So
Oh, wow. That's...
Got a
at this
6.
speed, he's solving
Quite-
2 things at once.
So what is the highest possible number
Well, surely.
on
It's 8.
8?
Yeah, it is 8.
Oh,
you
right.
can have a grid of 9
Can you imagine
lines,
you just like
which
start
I
the
call
game
a
and you just get
9.
an 8?
Okay, well that's me then. I think I did I think I got a combined time of less than 80. I don't know what exactly it was because I wasn't
Wow, that's...
We'll
that's
call it-
but that
call it
was my
15.
goal. I did get a sub-minute expert, so got everything I wanted.
Oh, wow. That run you just... That play you just made was amazing. Oh, my God.
Yeah, look at me go.
GG's, GG's.
But no, thank you very much for running this.
Yes, thank you so much, Tom.
Apologies to the fact we haven't quite zoomed it in there, but yeah, hopefully everything was still visible and stuff.
No, it's
Having it zoomed out
money
is
to
the meta.
And I don't know about you,
so-
but every time I see someone play Minesweeper, it makes me instantly want to play Minesweeper again.
It makes me feel stupid because I don't understand what's going on. I'm just seeing random colours and numbers, and I'm like, wow.
You don't know how I mean, sure you know.
No, so I know how to play it, but I don't
I see.
play
I
it
see.
efficiently.
Yeah, no,
But
that's fine.
you know, like the only really times where I've like played it is when I was in like English in school, and I'd go on like the school PCs because I didn't want to do work, and
I
I'd type
see.
in Google Minesweeper, and
Yeah,
I'd
okay.
just
We'll hurry
click
up
about
anyway,
and
'cause
stuff.
we've got to get on to the next run anyway.
Gotta
So, yes.
shut me up.
Okay. Are we good to
We
switch
good.
over?
It's on me.
Sure. So we're going to switch to our next runner. Are you guys? How long do you guys need? 5 minutes. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure we can talk about stuff for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yes, we are now £44 in,
Let's
and
go.
our donation goal. Well, our initial donation goal is just £64, which is 2 to the power of. I do not want to get this wrong.
I don't
really
want to
don't want to get
maths
this
either
wrong.
live on stream.
I
Maths, no.
Well, the saddest part is that I'm literally doing a degree that is half maths, so I would really not want to mess this up on stream.
Yeah, I'm doing computer science, which is complex maths again.
Yes.
But
Math in a box.
I'm terrible at maths, but I'm really good at like relevant maths to my topic.
So, yes, the currently coming up is a speedrun of Fear by Drager. And following that, we have a Cuphead run with all bosses 1.1 plus.
Nice.
So, Fear is, as you might expect by the name, a horror game, I believe. Well, it's an old horror game. So, you'll find that the horror isn't particularly scary as much anymore. Is this correct? Oh, fair. So more of a first-person shooter, and in fact, there are. I mean, especially at the start, there's some quite cheap effects. I think I saw in the run. Like you when you see it, you'll know what I mean. But yes. And then after that, we'll have Into the Breach, 2 islands, hard mode custom squad, and then followed by Mario Kart 8 run. This is going to be a bit of a big run. 200cc. With items allowed and 32 tracks.
Love a bit of Mario
And
Kart 8.
I'll mention the other ones as we get closer to there. Also, while we're here, I should probably mention the reason why we're here in the first place, which is to raise money for Special Effect, a charity that helps the disabled, helps those with disabilities be able to play and enjoy games. And all you need to do to donate is head to warwickspeed.run/donate, and that will send you to the Tiltify link. Yeah.
And it's ! Donate in chat for those who are interested.
Yes. How are we doing?
Thank
on
you,
the
lovely
setup there?
assistant.
We also have some runners over in the back doing some practice runs. I can see something of Haven there for tomorrow. And also, earlier I saw someone actually doing a little speedrun of GeoGuessr. We might have a bonus run at some point
Ooh.
during tomorrow.
GeoGuessr runs are always very fun.
Also, we may get another bonus runner if we get the VR set up. Because I believe that somebody is, well, not really a speedrun per se, but more a demo of Beat Saber.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
someone who is the second... as far as I'm aware, they're the second best AC map player. So they have the second best accuracy on playing on like really difficult maps in Beat Saber.
Ooh.
So that would be pretty cool.
Yes.
All we need to do is drag them out of bed.
And that's the hardest part.
That is the hardest part. Okay.
Also, guessing out of bed at 8:20 to play Haven tomorrow. Try, Crow.
Well, we have some 5
You are
as well.
Oh, I didn't even realise some runs start at 5:40 a.m.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But keep in mind that in the US, because obviously we
Oh,
have runs
right.
in the US
Yeah,
as well. So
It's not so bad.
yeah. So earlier we had a bingo run, and actually, Mutant Aura actually mentioned this themselves. Is that some of the they were talking about the goals being randomized in this bingo.
Yeah.
But in the Kingdom Hearts 2 run, the actual game itself has, because it's being played on an emulator, is switching between a bunch of different maps. So the game state actually switches around as they play, and the game state, the maps that get chosen, the places they travel to, are themselves randomized.
Right. Okay.
So it's a linear game, well, linear-ish, but
Yeah.
it all gets switched around.
So I've seen something quite like similar, because it's quite common with Pokemon games now doing like different like Nuzlocke
Nuzlocke.
challenges, right? But I have also seen people do like randomizers where every like not warp zone, but every area is like different.
It's
So
a game change,
so when they walk in to like the Pallet Town like home where you like first like spawn in, I guess, where like your like mum is, right? It could be the Elite Four. You know, like you could just warp in there and it takes you to the end of the game, and you're kind of soft locked there because you got a level 5 starter Pokemon, and you have to fight the Elite Four. You know. But they're always a very, very fun watch. It's always crazy.
Okay. Right. Yes, can we go to a 5-minute break, and then we'll be set up by then. You can make it short if you wish.